Well, millions of Americans celebrated yesterday after President Biden announced sweeping student loan debt cancellations. But there's much more to the White House's plan beyond canceling $10,000 of debt for graduates.
Matt King joins us now to break down some of the finer points that did not make the headlines. Mac.
Yeah, Lori, Steve, this was a campaign promise many of President Biden's supporters and his fellow Democrats in Congress have spent the last couple of years, often not quietly, waiting for him to deliver on. The manner in which he did so requires some unpacking to fully understand.
Millions of people could qualify to have a good chunk of, or even all of their student loan forgiven.
Student loan hero senior economist Jacob Channel expected those millions of indebted Americans to spend Thursday, the day after President Biden announced his student loan forgiveness program, scrambling to determine if they qualified, and if so, how much of their outstanding federal student loans this country might erase for them.
I think that if at any point you had a Pell Grant, you probably will qualify for that additional $10,000.
The Biden administration plans to wipe out up to $20,000 in outstanding student loans for every American who received Pell Grants, given to those with substantial financial need, likely at any point during their college years, if the borrower now earns less than $125K. Others, also earning below that threshold, will see up to $10,000 in loan debt expunged. And Channel expects current college students with loans they maybe haven't even started repaying yet to probably qualify for this forgiveness as well.
Again, this is one of those gray areas where I think we need a little bit more clarification from the Department of Education.
What about future borrowers?
Fordham law professor John Brooks asked the question on the minds of every parent with children high school age or younger.
The underlying issue here is that higher ed is really expensive.
In many ways, Biden's plan fails to address the more macro, systemic issues at play when it comes to going to college in this country. You can rack up massive credit card debt and get it forgiven in bankruptcy court, but student loan debt follows you until you pay it off or die.
In a lot of ways, I think that they are taking steps to address some of these broader issues, some of these deep-rooted issues.
It maybe failed to find its way into headlines like the 10K cancellation, but the Biden administration's overhaul of income-driven repayment, allowing borrowers to pay 5 instead of 10% of their discretionary income for a set amount of time, after which the government forgives its loan, represents a change, barring a future executive order from a different administration, that should ease the debt burden for not only the previous and current, but also future generations of college students.
There are still benefits to this plan for people who haven't yet taken out loans, but are probably going to in the near future.
I understand not everything I'm announcing today is going to make everybody happy.
Brooks contends student loans are maybe uniquely problematic, given without much info to borrowers and used by some schools to enroll students in programs not appropriate or too expensive for them, all while forcing student borrowers to pay interest rates higher than what it costs their government to lend them that money.
Or recognition that taxpayers should not be profiting from harming borrowers.
Some have expressed concern this $300 billion given back to Americans will cause a spike in inflation as we spend that money. Goldman Sachs and others have pushed back on that, pointing out the student loan payments pause over the last couple of years has likely already injected any additional money back into the economy. And when repayments resume later this year, it may have the opposite effect. Lori?
All right, Mac. Thank you.